going to give us 16. So 9,216 is going to be the answer to this one here. Okay. Now let's go to J and look at how someone can easily do J. This is 21 squared. This is 51. There's a method you can use for getting numbers that end with 1. And but I'm going to use that method for 21 alone. And then for 51, I'm going to show you something else, 51 and 530. So if you get any number that is ending with 1, the idea is to take that number. So for example, here, this 21, then less that 1. Okay, subtract that 1. So that one will give us 20. Then square that 20. Okay, square the 20. So that will give us 400. After squaring 20, now you still have now this 20, then double this number here. Okay, so after square it, then double times 2. That's going to give you 40. So here we have 440. And then the one that you remove, that you subtracted from it, just return it so that you add it to that one. So that's going to give you 441. Another thing you can do is, another thing you can do is basically, another method you can do to calculate this number is, say, you have 21. So that means now we have 1, okay? We have some 1, so we have 21 here. So take this 1 that you have here, add it again to, so that take 21 and then add that 1. So it's going to give you 22. Now it is the 22, okay, that you're supposed to multiply by 20. Because now this is 21 is a number under 20. So this is going to give you 440. Then just add that 1 and you have 441. So there are so many methods how to deal with numbers that end with 1 or so that is something that I wanted to show you. Now I want us to take the last 2, K and L, and I will show you how it functions. So this one we are looking at squaring numbers that begins with 5. That's going to be interesting, but we know every time you have a number that ends with 5, you basically know that you can easily kind of guess what the answer is likely to be. If you have 5 squared, that one should give you 25. In this case, if it's 50 squared, it should give you 2,500. Okay, but 5 squared alone gives you 25. So this is what happens. Any number that begins with 5, it's so easy to handle. You know why? Because what we are going to do here is this. We're going to say that we're going to separate that 5, 50, so that's 51. So 5 and 1. We know that 5 squared is going to give you 25. That's going to give you around 2,500. But in this case now, normally what we say is that you take the first one, this number, and square that number. So 1 squared is going to give you 1. So that's going to be part of the answer. And since it's 1, it's not less than 10, we're going to leave it at 0, 0, 1. The next thing we're going to do is to say 51 is 1 above 5 squared, which means and 5 squared alone is like 50 squared, and 50 squared alone is 2,500. So what we normally say is like, we take that 51, we take that, okay, so let me just put this answer a bit later. So we're going to say, what is then 51 minus 25? And that's going to give you the first part of the answer. 51 minus 25 going to give you 26. And then we say, what is 1 squared? 1 squared is 0, is 1. So because it's less than 10, it's going to remain 0, 1. So just by looking at a number, it's so easy for you to get an answer. The reason why I'm saying this is because even if you had like 57 squared, so just multiply what is 7 squared, the answer will be 57. First of all, the first part of the answer is going to be, what is 57 minus 25? Okay, minus 25. So in this case, we're going to have 32. Okay, 57 minus 25, because that is, let me just indicate here. 5 squared is 25. So here, the first part of the question is going to answer is going to be 57. 57 that we have minus 25. Because the first 5 squared is going to give you 25. In this time, we are talking about 2,500. So that should give you an indication of the numbers we are working with. Okay. So in that case now, Max, make this one also, in bracket 500, like 5,700. But in that case, that doesn't really make sense. So normally just know that that's the method we're working with, and it works. So if you subtract this one, we're going to have here 32. Now 32 is going to make the first part of the answer. And then the second part of the answer is going to be when we say, okay, the next part here is 7. So we just multiply that 7. 7 square. We square 7. And it's going to give us 49. So 39, 49 is the same as 39, 14, 32, 49 is the answer. The thing with numbers that end with 5, you can use now that method to multiply, let's say, 48 squared. Because 48 squared is less. So what we're going to do here is we're going just to say, what is 48 minus 25? That's going to be the first part of the answer. Okay. So that's going to be 23. And then we're going to say, if we have 50, what's the difference between 50? The way we did with 100, and we're going to 50 and 48 is going to be 2. In this case now, in this case now, we're going to say 40, no, that's 2 squared is going to give you 4. So we're going to have here 0, 4. You see, you can use that method to multiply any number. And now, any number that starts with 5, even if it's like 530 squared, it's easier. In a second, you're going to get an answer because it operates the same way. So let's say we have 530 squared. And in this case, now we're talking about an answer that's likely to be 250,000. So 500 alone squared will give us around 250,000. So that is what we're talking about. That's the number we're actually looking for. But in this case now, the easiest thing to get an answer is always to say, okay, what is, so here we keep it at 250. So we're going to say, what is 53, 530, to get the first part of the answer, minus 250. So we're going to get here 280. So in another way, we are actually talking about we're saying that the first part of the answer is going to be 280,000. Okay. Then the second part of the answer is going to be that 30, the difference, plus, yeah, that's 30 squared. So we can just take what is 30 squared. We know that's 900. So in a quick way, we can easily say what is 530 squared by saying 280, 900. That's our answer. So that is what I wanted to share with you. There's so many ways to calculate this. I just wanted to come up with various sum with various points and various characteristics. So for example, we talked about numbers that end with 5, numbers that end with 4, numbers that end with 6, numbers that end with 9, numbers that end with 1, numbers that are closer to 100, and numbers that begin with 5. So that is all that I wanted to share today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in case you are struggling with some calculation, please use these methods to ease in your work. Otherwise, have a nice time and bye.